Hey, how's it going? Let's get on to the texting topic, the TT. Been having some back and forth with certain people, and I often kind of tell them, yo, get on voice chat. Now I kind of want to get into the explanation of, let's be crude, but you'll see why, okay? Why texting makes you fucking dumb. Okay, let's balance that out. Because some people might have just reacted and went like, I'm not fucking dumb. And it's like, ooh, just the fact that you might have had that reaction is you falling right into that trap. What do I mean? Texting is, how do you say, surface level of communication. Very ground, not even basic, just very ground level. Basic is having this communication with voice, or at least voice, then voice and facial aspect, and then fourth level is basically being next to you. Okay, I'll break those down later on, but texting is not even surface level practically, because your definition of a word, my definition of a word, someone else's definition of a word could mean completely different things. Okay? Definitions evolve, they change, and are different per country, per time era, per even context and situations. Alright? You gotta get that. If you don't, you can kind of see how text has lowered your awareness of these things. You are not mindful of these specificities in your language. Thus, you're not necessarily understanding how at times it's quite easy to get into division, easy to get into conflicts, easy to get into misunderstanding. Because you might still be in that hive-mind programming of saying, oh, everyone means the same thing when they say that. Everyone means the same thing when they use that sentence structure. Everyone should assume, guess, judge, know for sure my feelings as I text. Which is an impossibility. Oftentimes, text have a mute tonality. You might need to describe your current feelings and interpretation in a fucking paragraph. And how much time is that gonna take you, huh? Compared to just speaking it. You see, the 30-minute to the 10 to 20 to 30-minute to even hour blotches of text can easily be resumed in a video. I can see the tonality. I can see your facial expression going up and down. I can see the nuances of what you are trying to bring. But with text, which is basic bitch level of communication, no, it's not even basic. It's lower than basic, you could say, you know? In the aspect of fully exchanging what you mean, what you're trying to get across, your intentions as well, because some of your intentions, your good intentions might just fall flat with text. Okay? With voice, at least audio, it can be heard. It could be understood through your intonation and your switches of nuances. Okay? Now, another thing is, you may start on a topic with audio and then refine your definitions, refine your meaning, refine your overall point. With text, one and done. This is the text. That's it. And then it's like, okay, but what do you mean by that? It's like we gotta wait 30 to 40 minutes to just kind of go, okay, so what do you mean by that? And then more time to get your answer via text, which won't fully express shit. Can you see how that just causes a lot of conflicts, misinformation, and all that, right? Like, I don't get your context. I don't get your meaning via mute text. And there's this casualized, you could say casualized and normalized insanity of, oh, you were supposed to assume this. It's like, no. But just this reaction of you were supposed to assume, that's what I call how text dumbs you down. Literally dumbs you down. It's this aspect of assuming everyone on the... How many people are we on this planet? Coming up to 8 billion? All 8 billion people are supposed to assume your exact meaning, exact context, exact nuances, and exact tonality. See, you want to be playful about this. When I say dumb, I want to be shocking, but I also want to be playful. You're not stupid. You're not dumb. The practice is dumb, but you are not dumb as an individual. Now, there's a logical approach to this and logical understanding of how it got to this. And basically, we got used to the internet. We got used to, those early times, MIRC, MSN, ASL, yo, we got used to that. And then it transferred to Facebook. And then it transferred to everything that we're using now. Messenger, all this shit. People are kind of used to going, oh yeah, right, my nuances and all my feelings, people should know, right? There's also another factor. People aren't mindful of their fucking nuances and feelings and what they want to express. That's why oftentimes in fights, it's like, you better know this, you should have known this. And it's like, well, no, I can't read your fucking mind. We ain't at that level, humanity. And looking at the way we're going with this text thing, it's gonna take a slight amount of time. Not saying it's impossible, but it's gonna take a slight amount of time. Yet, there's no mindfulness, no awareness of these nuances in text. And guess what? That's not even, again, it's not their fault. It's not people's fault. Because then you get used to, you know what I'm gonna say, right? Basic bitch main character mentality from television and your fiction. All that basic dialogue, nuanceless, so hive-minded, because it's got to be fed to everyone, right? Everyone's got to know on a general base. That's how it sells, right? So that's why it keeps you in basic bitch main character mentality level of interaction and mindfulness. It's got to be common. It's the fast food of mental thinking. It's the fast food of talking. It's got to be accessible to everyone. Yet, when you stick to fast food level of inner interaction, then you get depressed or you get angry at someone else's reaction because they didn't get your nuances, which you did not take the time to get for yourself because, again, we weren't taught that. And we're then wrapped into this basic bitch mentality, main character mentality type of product. The same goes with video games, same goes with movies, same goes with most kind of fictions. There is barely a mindful attention paid to the nuances of words and how not everyone has the same definition. Oftentimes it's a back and forth when it comes to discussion. That's why debates are fucking trash at times. Because I'm going to stick to my point instead of coming to an understanding, coming together to an understanding on a specific subject, putting each and every of our pieces, finding a middle a middle ground, kind of like an understanding of each of our definition. Not by, no, you're wrong, but just by, what do you mean by that? Where do you get that definition? I see it in this different way. Where can we find this? You see, there's much more of a growth aspect to it instead of a my point, your point, my point, your point, where if you just look at the time wasted on this fight, division, versus the time spent growing an understanding that everyone's going to nourish and cherish, it's getting a bit obvious, right? No? Too much time, too much TV. Seriously, conflict sells, right? That's what your main character does. If you're a main character, you gotta have conflict. Apparently, you gotta have conflict to grow all the time instead of, having these moments with Uncle Iroh, I forgot his name, from Avatar, okay? Or Miyagi moments for most of the time, and then growing your mind from it. Same kind of goes with Bruce Lee. You would have a lot of time with his mindset, and you would grow from it instead of conflict. See, there's a balance to it. But if conflict gets you to have a very surface level mindset of it's me against the world, it's my opinion against the world, it's my opinion that needs to be understood, true psychic means, then you don't grow. And you often just restart the loop of division over and over. And it happens. Again, it happens. A lot of shit we weren't taught by people who were just running those cycles. And oftentimes we don't necessarily pay attention to how and the distortions that come with these, you could say, mediums, the texting. Hell, even fiction to a certain degree, it does take multiple pages to lay a base on what a character is, and even that is simply skimming the surface. Seriously, when you understand how deep and complex you are, you do not take it for granted. You do not expect others to know it. You don't expect them to read your mind. Again, there is no hive mind. It's just an illusion. Because you're still stuck at, or I don't say you, but you understand, like, this aspect that the general is often still stuck in the basic bitch main character mentality. Because it sells, and that's what's most repeated. And what's most repeated stays in the subconscious mind. It becomes normal. It becomes day-to-day average and casual. That's why at times there are certain people that you might know that getting into a fight with somebody is normal. It's like, oh, that's just life. Oh, that's just casual. You know, and I'm talking about big fights, not the aspect of, oh, there's this little skirmish, but then there's growth. No, it's the fight, break up, or just stay in one's room, you know, and then come back. And that's considered normal, you know? There's no perception and awareness and mindfulness of the pattern. It is just considered, oh, that is life. That is how everything should happen. Everything does happen. And then there's no even thought about, okay, well, what would I prefer? What would be better life-wise? What would be better in our interaction? How smoother could it be? You know? It's like this complacency, which is similar to what happened with text. At times, there's multiple reasons. Of course, there's multiple reasons, but it's kind of like there's a complacency. I'm expecting a person to respond to me in a certain way. Or I'm expecting a person should know my definition of this. And then if they don't, then I'll say, no, you've got this wrong. And then tap, 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 tap. Still expecting that any form of nuance and complexity could be conveyed with this trash-ass medium. And yeah, there are times where text, you know, you can get a direct beat on a whole paragraph. Speed reading has been a thing. Yeah, you gotta, again, it's about balance. You gotta understand, oftentimes speed reading just goes data, and not this aspect of feeling experiences being transferred. And when you still only perceive life through data, you're ignoring all 5 to 6 senses and how they work in tandem, along with how they affect your body and how they affect your future ways of thinking. You know, you're ignoring all this intricate mechanic that is your life. That's why, you know, sometimes I just hammer, and it's in a cheeky way, hammering the whole, well, you're just gonna go off and watch your Netflix, right? I've been through that. That's why I'm cheeky about it. And I don't take it so seriously. And I do tell people, do not take it so seriously. Especially when I kind of go, yeah, text makes you dumb. You know, I explain the nuances. So it's kind of like saying you're not dumb. But look at everything that you're missing out when you're only stuck and anchored on text response and text messaging. See? So it's this flow that you can kind of get into it once you take the time to practice. But if you're going to be drugged up by Netflix, drugged up by social media, drugged up by drugs, I mean pot, weed, you know, there's a balance to it all. And you're going to ignore certain aspects of being mindful about your living experience, your expressions, how you feel, how you expect to be received, you know, how your expression is expected to be received. Well, then there's nothing that can be done to you or for you. At the end of the day, it's all one's personal choice and one's personal journey. You can't put it on someone else. And that's why dumb is the one word that I can bring for that, because that's expecting other people to do the work for you. You know, that's expecting other people to read your mind. That's illogical. Okay, illogical could be another word, but you want to get that impact, just going, that is dumb. What is wrong with you? And just kind of get that thing to spark up. You know, it's all about an aspect of balance here. If I were just to trash you for 20 or 30 minutes to just say, oh, how fucking dumb and stupid, and be like some of those news anchor going, and they're fucking dumb! You know? You guys can see some of the reference there, you know? And they're fucking dumb! And they're liberals! You know? Nothing would be learned. That would be going back to the debate format of just sticking to the guns. Here, I'm just trying to explain with some high points. You know, sometimes you gotta have some of those uppercuts and wake up to some of the things that you're missing. And I know some people are gonna defend. They're gonna defend their texting to death by texting. And well, hey, sometimes there's nothing you can do. Sometimes you gotta accept and allow certain people to stay in this loop of their own mind. Even as they complain online, they want their life to be better, but they won't do the work. And there's an interesting video I'm about to set up on that soon. So let's have fun with this. Remember, the practice is dumb, not you. And you also understand that there were factors leading us to that. Okay? We didn't fucking consciously choose, because consciously choosing, or fully consciously choosing and being mindful of that would have been, hey, in 10 years, if I continue this habit, where would I be? How would I perceive life? How would I analyze life? What would happen if I keep assuming shit from other people? What would happen if other people were assuming shit from me based on this very low context, low nuance platform of texting? You know? Just think. Keep that in mind. Ask yourself the question. If you won't, ain't nothing gonna be done for you. GG, bye! Sometimes you just gotta play with that, you know? And it's nothing about, oh, they're shit or, oh, they're trash. No, it's life eventually brings you moments where you have those reflections and you pause and you ask those questions. But if you don't do it in the moment, then life is gonna bring you another moment, another moment, another moment. So, for all those, you could say light workers, psychiatrics, or people working in this medium trying to help people. It ain't on you. If they're not going to do the work, they ain't going to do the work. So, it happens. Yet, that's their own journey, and they'll have to live it. So, let's have fun, alright? Let's play with all this. Be cheeky, playful, not necessarily trying to be hard on this. We understand we didn't consciously choose it, and a lot of patterns were brought on to us by our parents, by society, by television, by media, by all that basic McDonald of thinking and Big Mac of expressions. But now we're figuring out, because we see how much division, conflict, inner turmoil, depression it caused, you know? And we're helping the next generation. So let's fucking do this, people, and have fun, alright? Again, you're not dumb. You're just led to these practices, which are themselves, and these concepts, dumb. Not the individual, just the practice. Even better said, not the individual, the unconscious practice. Getting deeper, people. Have a good one.